Hello, everyone. This is Coach Matt for the Seattle Chess School. And today's video will also be instructional. It will be concerning what I like to call the golden moves of chess. There are three golden moves in chess. There is giving check, there is attacking the queen, there is threatening checkmate in one. Now, each of these moves has a certain level of excitement to it because of the fact that in many cases, if your threat is reacted to wrongly, then you get a golden prize, such as the king or the queen. For example, this scholar's mate attack, which has been known for a very long time. This is when one plays bishop to c4, we are threatening mate in one here. So this means that anything that is a bad move is going to be instantly punished, right? And so because of this, there's a certain level of excitement that comes along with playing such moves because of the fact that it is threatening to win. The fried liver is another one where knight f6 and knight to g5, where we are threatening only a pawn, but it's the golden moves that are attached to it, such as bishop takes f7 check, or knight takes f7 winning the queen. Something like that. For example, if the opponent is nice enough to play bishop to e7, knight takes f7 smothers the queen. So making these kind of threats comes with a large prize if the opponent cannot block your attack or does not block your attack adequately. Okay, so now, of course, with each of these types of moves, there are certain drawbacks as well. I mean, even threatening checkmate in one can sometimes be a blunder, as we will see. One type of check, which I see a lot as a chess coach, is what we call the Charlie check in my chess clubs. The Charlie check, so with all these pawns, we've got Al, Barry, Charlie, Delroy, Eddie, Freddie, Gary, and Harry. Charlie on both sides actually has an extremely important function for every player that plays an opening where you move the d pawn early. Because any opening where you move the d pawn early, the diagonals to the king get open. And because of this, it is very tempting from time to time to want to give a check, because when you make a move like check, you actually get to say the word check. And if the opponent reacts badly to this or accidentally touches their queen, then they're forced to play a really horrendous move and you will win the game. But that's where Charlie comes in handy, because if Charlie is at home and is not moved and is still on the home square, then simply blocking this check ends this excitement. And then not only do you gain a move by attacking the bishop, but you gain the next move as well, because the bishop has to run away. So sometimes just being able to give check isn't quite enough. Like I was mentioning in the scholar's mate example, this, of course, is threatening mate, but if the opponent blocks it correctly, then you will be having to make extra moves with your queen. Say, for example, if the opponent plays something like queen to e7, next move is knight to f6, and the queen already has to start wasting moves, and black in turn is making normal good developing moves. So this can't be good. So this is where you get the temporary thrill of threatening checkmate, but if they defend it properly, then it will, it will rebound very, very quickly. Okay, so now on the other hand, one of the things about golden moves, and I have seen this a lot in my coaching career, where if you have a student that does not play for golden moves, they never give check, they never attack the queen, they never threaten checkmate, those kids or adults seem to struggle with chess. They have a harder time with it because this is by nature an aggressive game. You have a lot of weapons to work with when and the idea is to use these weapons against your opponent and try to win the game. If you do not do this, this is very similar to playing hockey or playing soccer and never shooting on goal. You never take a shot on the goal, you can never win. Now, you can make ties, You can win, you could tie every game 0-0 and you'll never lose, but you'll also never win. So in chess, the shots on goal are, moves where you're threatening mate against the king, moves where you give check, moves where you attack their queen. Because obviously, if you can succeed in any one of those goals, you will, in fact, win the game or have some great chances to win the game. Okay, so let's see this kind of stuff in action. So this particular game, I'm gonna show a very old game between two students, and then we will look at the same games that we did in the last video I did on take, push, sit, but from the point of view of golden moves. So again, we will feature the games of Pocket Thesaurus and Timberlake 2025. But this first one is an ancient game between two students that started off as a King's Gambit. Now, the King's Gambit, more than probably any other opening, there are going to be golden moves for both sides. Lots of opportunities to give check, lots of opportunities to play for checkmate, lots of or at least to threaten checkmate, lots of opportunities to involve our opponent's queen in the proceedings. All right, so the game starts off like this, and now only now did black take. Bishop c4, knight f6, attacking the pawn, d3, defending the pawn, d5, forking two pieces, bishop to b5, pinning, capturing, so black wins the second pawn, and then white goes for the knight e5 attack and trying to make something of this pin on c6. Okay, now in this position, we see the first golden move of the game. Here, black played bishop to b4 check. Now, like I said in the example, this is the Charlie check. So even though I just saw a game just yesterday where Jan Nepomniachtchi made some sort of check like this in his game in the Norway tournament, I would say that this move is the Charlie check is probably about 99% bad. There are some exceptions to this rule, and sometimes it's a good idea to try to weaken things by forcing them to play c3, but 99% of the time such a check is not good, and this bishop would be better placed elsewhere. So golden move number one is a big thud because of c3, and then the bishop backed up, trying to prevent castling. White played d4, good move, actually helping with castling, and black couldn't help it here and decided to play another golden move. Hey, give me the queen. So yeah, like anytime you see moves like this, the opponent that plays, the person that plays this move is thinking to themselves, wow, if they don't notice anything, I'm going to take the queen. And if you make moves like this that attack queens with this idea in mind, where if your opponent doesn't see it, then you're going to win. That's what we call hope chess. Hope chess is not very good. I would say that hope chess works about 50% of the time if you're lucky. It's a 50-50 shot, which means it's 50% bad, 50% good. Here it's 100% bad because knights go backwards and they can actually take. But if you are listening to me on this video and you make moves like this on a regular basis where you're attacking the queen and you're hoping that they make the worst move, my suggestion is to reserve such moves. In fact, it might even be better not even to think about attacking the queen, but just getting on with development, or maybe defending the thing that is being attacked, which is the knight on c6. So instead of using this bishop for aggressive purposes, use it for defensive ones. Black's up 2 pawns. Black doesn't have to do anything fancy here. So this is a little too much with bishop to g4. So this is golden move number 2, and this is a really big thud because, of course, after capture, white is up a piece and is winning. Black here played f3, which again drops another piece. So after capture, this position is completely winning for white. E3, which allows white some golden moves of their own. Check. Now this one is good because after black takes and white takes, so 2 golden moves in a row, white won a second, yet another pawn, and is forcing the king to uncastle. So the king uncastled like this. White captured the offending pawn that was close to him, And then black gets this idea of now going king to e7 with this long-winded attempt at playing rook to e8 and king out of the way and trying to get the rook into the game. However, this exposes the king even more. So another golden move, forcing the king back into his hidey hole. Develop the knight, g6 with the idea of king to g7 and rook to e8, but this allows an extremely strong golden move in the form of bishop h6 check. Now when the king goes to g8, black is down 2 minor pieces and a rook, and his king is totally weak. So this means there's all kinds of problems in the position, and white needs one more good move to win the game. I would definitely have suggested castles, which introduces the rook into the attack and gets the king out of the way. Castling short is also interesting because the king is actually quite protected, and the rook is already on f7, which is really weak at this moment. But in this position, which is the instructive part, white played a golden move. White played queen e5 check. Now I could tell what white was thinking at this moment. Here, black is basically blundered like 8 times, maybe more, to get this really horrible position where they're down a lot of material. So the idea was, like, well, gee, all we have to do is threaten checkmate, and this person's going to blunder one more time, and we're just going to win the game. Why not? They've already blundered 72 times to get this. So why won't they do it another time? Well, and this is a very instructive thing for all chess players, is that no matter how badly your opponent plays, you yourself you must continue to play good moves. You can't suddenly just get lazy and play any move that you can think of, even if it's a golden move, because if it's a bad move, then your opponent is not going to be punished for all the bad moves that they played beforehand. And the reason why queen to e5 is such a terrific mistake is because it allows black a golden move of their own. And once the bishop gets captured, there's going to be no more mate, and black will at least get one of their pieces back. So now, and like I said, I mean, instead of queen to e5, if you really wanted to play the golden move, this one would have been a little bit better, because not only is it guarding h4, it's like a double golden move. You're threatening to take the queen, and you're threatening checkmate. So this would have been way better than queen to e5. So after queen to e5, check, king d1, there goes the mate, rook to f1, but white still has the extra knight, so white is still winning. Now black plays a golden move of their own, threatening queen takes knight mate. So rook to f2 defends, queen h4 attacks the rook, queen c7 is a golden move. Now this threatens queen takes f7 mate. So suddenly we have a position where this advantage is getting traded back and forth. And instead of actually defending the mate, black went on a golden move trip. First of all, check way over here, b3, then check way over here, 2 golden moves in a row. And again, all white has to do is just move the king. There is no checks. I mean, the only way you could get a check is to sacrifice the rook, and then black's just down a rook with a trapped rook. So this is really losing. So all white has to do is make a simple move like that. Instead, white made rook f3, and again, probably thinking that, gee, I'm threatening checkmate. I got the golden move on. I really want this move, and my opponent again has made a bunch of mistakes, so why not? But unfortunately, black was up to the task here and played queen takes f3, and now suddenly white is losing and went on to lose later on. All right, so for those of you that watch the Take Push Sit video, we're going to see the exact same games as I demonstrated in those games of Timberlake and Pocket Thesaurus. But now, instead of looking at it from the point of view of Take Push Sit, we will now look at it from the point of view of golden moves. And we'll see how this looks from this lens. All right, so in this game, this was the game of Timby versus the 2179 player. And we will only look at checks, queen attacks, and threats of mate. And we will get this very soon from black's point of view, only because Timby dove in with the queen. Whenever you dive in with the queen, this does win material, or in this exact position. But on the other hand, it is a target for attack. So knight g6, and here we have the first golden move. So this attacks the queen, almost traps her, or forces her to go to somewhere slightly unpleasant. So queen to d3, knight c5. Now this is another golden move. So this one probably should be met just by simply, again, moving the queen. Looks like queen c4 is a little bit dangerous because of bishop e6, and this might just win the queen outright. So queen c4 is dangerous. So this golden move probably should be met by queen to e3. Instead, this is where Timby gets brave and just ignores it. So, okay, so here's a double golden move. It's check, and we won the queen. But of course, we can just take. So it doesn't lead to anything special. Here's another golden move. So black's now ahead on golden moves, what, 5-0? Oh, actually, this one hit the queen as well. So, all right. So in this position, when they captured black back, black should do something with the queen. He doesn't have to get in, try to make this interesting with knight to e2. He could just save his queen, queen b6, queen c7, something like that. Instead, he tries to get golden here and goes for a check, and then goes like this. So this has the idea of putting a rook on d8 and queen to a1 mate. So this is a golden move plan. However, Timby knows all about this, so he defends a1 right away. So defending against golden moves, good idea. a5, bishop c4. And then here Timby played this one, which in my opinion is in fact a golden move, because we are threatening check, check, and rook g1 mate. And this was not appreciated. Now, what's interesting was that the move that black played to allow checkmate is in fact a golden move, because black is threatening queen takes c2 mate. So this is one of these cases that happens all the time. You hear it all the time. Oh, I almost won. I was like one move away from winning, and my opponent checkmated me. Okay, if you have ever said that, what that means is that you had a golden move that you played, but what you should have done is guarded against what your opponent was trying to do. That was better than going for the win. In my opinion, it's not a good idea to think of it as, oh, I almost won. It was like, no, I had a good position, but my opponent had a better one, but I didn't do anything about it. That is almost always what happens. So here black goes for checkmate, but in fact gets mated first. And that was that. Okay, so here's game number 2 from the point of view of golden moves. Let's see. So golden moves are a little bit harder to come by in this one. No checks except for this one. So this is the first one of the game, knight to f6. Now this golden move, of course, has the bonus of forcing black to not castle. So I would say that as a golden move goes, that was really, really strong. All right, so we have some moves here, just some exchanges. Both sides are building up. Okay, so here's golden move number 2, attacking the queen. Queen d7. And yeah, these kind of golden moves, when you attack the queen, what I would suggest here is only making moves like this if it improves your position. If you're just making this move because you get the excitement of attacking the queen for 5 seconds and then your opponent moves it away, you want to make sure that you didn't ruin your position by loosening the pawns or whatever move you happen to make. So that is one really excellent condition with golden moves, is it improve your position. If it does not improve your position and just make your position worse, then this is the bad side of golden moves. It seems like it's exciting to go to make an attacking move like this, but if your opponent could take advantage of it later, then it wasn't worth it to play this move. So after queen d7, queen e4, rook g4. Okay, so here we have a golden move, which actually turns out to be really good after this, because now Timby sees that by just moving the c pawn, we are threatening queen to a4 check, which white should respect. So it's threatening a golden move in the form of check, but it might even turn into a checkmating attack because the king is exposed here. So this was a good move from the point of view of golden moves. Unfortunately, after here, he did not execute that which was golden by going queen to a4. In fact, what he allowed was a series of golden moves against himself, because after capture, here's one, here's two, that's check. Here's three, that's check. This isn't quite a golden move because we're only attacking a rook, but we are threatening something rather huge here. So he's got to do something about that. This isn't a golden move because it doesn't give check, but after the rest of this, here we're threatening to make a queen, and this forced resigns. So this was a case where a golden move was had but not executed, and in turn it led to some powerful play by the opponent. Okay, so let's look at this PT game in the point of view of the golden moves. So here's golden move number one, which actually wins a pawn, because after pawn takes, queen takes, golden move number two, we hit him with two GMs and we got an extra pawn. Now we will have to collect this bishop, but of course white has to block the check. So then we collect the bishop. So two golden moves equals one pawn in this case. All right. So now this one is kind of a golden move because they're threatening to move the bishop and do a discovery on the queen. But this, I guess this doesn't really apply to our discussion here. It did make a big threat. Okay, so that was a golden move. First one for white. So it's like, give me the queen. So the idea here is that if black captures, now we have disco powers and we can play bishop takes b5, and this probably leads to a big attack. So this golden move, it helps white out. This is a useful move. Queen c5, right? Then there was that rook g8 move, which actually allows take and pin and more pin. And then, so, okay, so then this move was a golden move, but I mean, we could capture back. And then this, on this one, so now black wants to play some golden moves of their own, but these kind of golden moves are more expensive when you sacrifice something to play a check or to make some sort of threat. Those are very, very expensive, and so you have to get something good when you're giving away entire rooks like this just to check. So check was played. There's another check, and then that one, but this allows some moves of white's own. So there's so he saves the bishop first and then gives a check. So here's golden move number whatever. And then after making a queen, now we've got golden moves galore. And there probably is a very quick mate, especially when it's two queens on an open board. And in this position, there was just a series of golden moves here. There's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, there's 5, 6, 7, and number 8 and 9 are going to give mate. So it would look like this, and mate. So in this case, once you start putting golden moves together in a streak, that usually is what leads to a big giant attack on the king. All right, so let's see how, in a game where PT wins, let's see how he uses his golden moves here. Let's see. So black plays the first one, check, and then white returns the favor and plays a golden move of his own. So this attacks the queen. So this allows this, and once the queens get traded, then that gets rid of a lot of the goldenness of the position. As a matter of fact, we don't have any for a couple more moves until now. Now, white of here, of course, is threatening a golden move, and a very good one, because on c5 check, it's going to pick up the knight. So, of course, black should have prevented this, although the question is, how does it get prevented? I mean, king f8 might run into knight h7, might run into knight e6. King h8 might run into knight f7 followed by c5. That could be problematical. So there might actually have been no way to defend this. Maybe black actually has to sack a pawn here. Although I don't even know if this works. So maybe there was no move, but as it was, white got in a nice golden move, winning the knight. And then, so here we have another one. Now we're actually playing for mate, now that the king is wide open. Knight to e6, rook c7. This file got open. Here's another golden move, getting the pawn closer to queening and checking him like this, blocking the check, going after the pawn. Black now decides to throw in some golden moves. Check, check. And then once you get 2 squares diagonal, that's the end of that. And after here, take, take, and rook to g1. The golden threat is rook takes bishop, which really can't be blocked. I mean, the only move you could, try is knight to e6 guarding, but then bishop takes d5 ought to be decisive. This is a pin. This is a pin. This is all kinds of problems here. So excellent use of golden moves. I don't know if the opponent had to allow all that, but as it was, it worked out okay. Okay, so here, the Timby game. We'll look at this. Okay, wait a minute. No. So this is a golden move threat. So we're threatening to play knight to d6, which doesn't immediately win anything, but it would be an extremely irritating move to allow. So that's why here Timby plays this, so that way d6 is covered. Okay, so they play a few moves. They break in. Knight to e3, both sides busted up. And here's the first real one of the game, check. And I mean, maybe this position with Black's monster bishop and monster knight and centralized queen, maybe this position is actually okay for Black, but on the other hand, not being able to castle, might be worth something here. So this golden move is probably okay. Knight to f5, not threatening anything golden. So here was a check and attack of the queen, but of course they get the queens come off the board. And the result of this particular golden move, where Black actually checked and attacked the queen, the result of this was that Black actually acquired a monster passed pawn with 2 bishops that are backing it up, plus a rook that's going to back him up. So the use of golden move there to try to trade off into an endgame worked out really well here for Timby. And then, so he sacks the B pawn, gets Eddie the E pawn going, backs him up, and then wins this exchange here. Okay. And okay, so a golden move by white, forcing the king away. So that wasn't so bad here. And then it looks like that in this position, white played knight c3, and it looks like he just won the game. He just forked the 2 rooks. But the use of the golden move came in handy here because he gives rook d3 check. Excellent move, because this saves the d1 rook. And then on the next turn, you could take with the d5 rook, and neither rook can be captured. So this was an excellent use of golden moves here. Here he gets out of check. Both rooks were saved. And the rest of this was pretty easy. This was a golden move, but I mean, by this time, he's already down a rook. And he just trades rooks and resigns. So an excellent use there. Finally, we'll look at this game one more time from the point of view of golden moves. And here's golden move number 1. Can I have your queen, please? So this one, white met this with just e4. So I would say that, probably white gained more from that. Bishop to g4. I mean, maybe trying to take advantage of some of these squares. White plays a golden move of his own, and this one looks a little bit better because this is actually an improvement of white's position. When the bishop is on c1, it is not better than the bishop on e3. So this is a useful move. On the other hand, I'm not certain if bishop f5 followed by bishop to g4 improved Black's position. Maybe it would have been better just to castle and then just get on with development. But so far, I think white's using golden moves a little bit better. Give me the bishop, back up, castle. So yeah, this is where white made the mistake of rook to c1. He should have taken. And then when capture happens, suddenly the goldenness of Black's position is increased dramatically because of the threat of either fe check or f3 check. both winning one bishop or another. And so just by this incorrect pawn capture, there's going to be golden moves all over the place. So here, check, first one of the game, and it's a good one. Here he decides to trade bishops first and then take his free bishop like this. Okay, so this is an inadvertent golden move where you capture something and lo and behold, you're attacking the queen. So he moves away. Knight to e4, possibly threatening knight f6 if you could just get this knight to move. That would be nice. Or threatening knight c5 and trying to shepherd both these pawns home. So he does, okay, so he gives another golden move first, which improves his queen slightly. And then he gets another golden move, hopefully getting his pawns going. And like in this position, but here, okay, so here's the thing is that white might actually have a move like, say, oh, I don't know, rook to d1 maybe, threatening e6, e7. But the thing is that black is threatening queen h4 with some really golden threats, like queen to h1. And if this pawn ever gets captured, then all of a sudden you're in checking range of a knight or possibly a bishop or something. And so, I mean, it's really dangerous to take this pawn. It's really dangerous to leave him alive. That's the problem when you're down a piece. So queen to d8. And then here, white again continued the golden move routine by giving check. But like I said, not all golden moves are good. And this one just sort of reduces the position. Take. And here, PT plays the goldenest move of all, which is trying to play for mate, queen h1. Notice here that if the king takes, then knight f4 check wins the queen. So he'll be walking from one golden disaster to another. So here instead, white gave a check, which is a double golden move where you're attacking the queen and the king, but it's just met by an exchange. And then the rest of this, I don't think there's any more golden moves for the rest of the game. And we know what happened here from the last video. All right, so this is a small introduction into the concept of golden moves. Giving check, attacking the queen, threatening mate in one. These types of moves are good to help you win with, but like any other chess move, there are exceptions to the rule and there are conditions. So as long as you can see what those are, then you too can use this strategy in your games with some, and hopefully this will help you out. All right, we will end it with that. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Coach Matt for the Seattle Chess School. And I will see everybody on the next one.